Hi guys, I just wanted to jump on here and make a little video around two areas that I see a lot of problems seem to occur up. And the first part is about what happens when someone first finds out they're like a Lightworker or a Starseed or Earth Angel, what is it around that labeling? And the second part is around what do you do, like the frustration of not being able to understand sort of the downloads and messages you're getting. So that's what this video is about. With the kind of the ever-increasing amount of people who are awakening on the planet, I've just noticed this trend over the last few years that people really freak out about, what it means when they find out they're a light worker or that they're a starseed or, any number of those sort of new age terms. And they suddenly kind of go, oh no, what does it mean? What does it mean I have to do? Like, does it mean I have to go off and quit my job and become a hippie and read tarot cards, be a healer or whatever? Like people just jump to conclusions, I guess would be the nicest way. And I think a lot of that is because there is a perception out there that all light workers or starseeds or healers or whatever kind of look and feel and behave in a certain way. They have certain careers, that you'll never see them in offices and things like that. I'm here to tell you right now, it's like that's not the case at all. Like being a light worker or a starseed or any of these other new agey terms, all it means is that you are consciously aware of the fact that you carry a particular type of frequency. So light workers and starseeds or earth angels, we are here, we just carry a very particular type of frequency, a very healing kind frequency. It's a very high frequency that quite often triggers people to heal around us. It can be the sort of energy that makes us attractive to damaged people because they sort of resonate with the fact that they somehow get some of our healing energy. It can get quite messy, and quite often people who do find themselves in that position are also triggers, and they can trigger off people around them as well. But it doesn't mean you have to do anything. Just because you suddenly find out you're a light worker does not mean you have to do anything. All it means is that you're aware that you're carrying a particular frequency and you have more, I guess, conscious control of what you want to do with that in the sense that when you have the awareness that, hey, I'm carrying a high frequency energy, I can actually choose to embody that in my workplace. Because this is the thing. We need light workers, earth angels, starseeds, and all these other terms. We need you guys out in like the normal jobs, in the cafes, in the restaurants, in the offices, schools, factories, driving trucks, driving trains, in mining, you name it, in the offices, corporate world, stock exchanges, banking. We need light workers in all the normal corporate fields. It doesn't mean you have to suddenly quit your job, go learn how to read tarot cards and become an energy healer. Although you might find that you naturally end up sort of down the track, you have an interest in these topics. That's fine. But don't feel that it's suddenly like an obligation for you to, drop everything and go off and be a hippie. So that's just something I've noticed a lot in so many places and so many, I guess for the newly awakened people, they feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that's out there and there's this sense of responsibility around being labeled these things. And this is the thing, they're just labels as well. We, as humans, we like to categorize things, so they're just labels. Take it or leave it, but really it just comes down to the fact that think of yourself as you just bring light into a space. So think of yourself as a light bringer instead of a light worker. It does not require any level of work at all. You can just go on, be your normal self, and just be aware that you bring a beautiful energy and a beautiful light into whatever it is you do. So maybe you can consciously be thinking good thoughts as you're making the sandwich for a customer who's having a shitty day. Maybe you can be consciously bringing good thoughts while you're typing up an email to send to a colleague or something like that. It's about being conscious that you carry a particular frequency into your workplace. The other thing I wanted to mention is the idea that, because I know there's a lot of frustration when you first start kind of awakening, you start sort of getting messages, even getting downloads and visuals, dreams might become very symbolic. You might sort of see things in meditations, get insights, and they just drop in. There can be a lot of frustration around, well, what am I meant to do with this? I want you to know that you don't necessarily have to do anything with it. It's a bit like dream analysis. Our subconscious can bring up a lot of visual imagery, but the interpretation of that may be significant, it may not be. But part of the joy of having a brain with a subconscious is like we can have these visual images. So when you do get these downloads and you don't feel stressed about, what does it mean? It may take 20, 30 years for it to unravel the meaning. You're not going to figure it out in the here and now. There's so many things I've personally experienced where I'll have a download of information and it takes 10 years before I actually know what it was all about. So don't put pressure on yourself to have everything figured out straight away when it comes to the downloads you receive. If anything, just enjoy the fact that you're getting downloads and be curious. Thank you, universe. It's nice to know I'm not alone. And I see that message and I acknowledge it, even though I don't know what it means just yet. And use it a little bit like dream journaling. It's good to document these things, and you just start to notice a pattern, because just like with dreams and the subconscious imagery, although there is, kind of common terms that people kind of, in the collective conscious from Jung's theories about the symbolism of things, ultimately the symbology is very unique to you, and it takes time for you to figure out what is the imagery that you're receiving and how does that relate to what happens in your life in the weeks, months, years after you saw that imagery. And so this is why a journal can be really good, is as you document these things, and like on one side of the page and maybe on the other side of the page you can document what's sort of happening in your life around that time, you can start to kind of develop a comparison point and start to realize, I see, whenever I see like a turtle, it means this. Or whenever I see a crow, it means this. There's sort of a pattern starts to develop. And that's how you almost start to decipher your own language of your subconscious. And that's what your intuitive abilities and the way your guides and everyone speaks to you, they're using kind of like the framework within your own mind anyway. So they're going to be using images and symbols that you're familiar with as well. So part of the trick is to figure out your own language with them. It's what I believe, like a lot of psychic mediums do. They start seeing images, but it takes them years to figure out, okay, what does that image mean when, someone's deceased loved one shows me, say, a rose? What does that mean? What does it mean when they appear on this side of the body? What does it mean when they appear on that side of the body? So that's the part that takes a long time. And in documenting it and just being aware of receiving this information and just being grateful that it's even happening, just enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of being a channel. Enjoy the process of that, the fact that there's something more outside of yourself interacting with you and saying, hey, we're around. Sure, we don't know what each other is saying. That's okay. That'll come in time. But don't put pressure on yourself in the here and now to understand it. Chances are it's going to take years. So let it take years. And in the meantime, just enjoy the fact that you're able to connect with these invisible realms that are around you and having fun with you. Okay? That's my two cents worth on these topics. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye.